Yeah, if you could interview BTS, what would you ask?
Oh my gosh. I saw you ask Brian Byrne this, and I started thinking about it last week. But I'll tell you what, I don't know. I don't think that I have an answer for that. If given the opportunity, I would obviously have, a whole notebook full of questions that I would hope to get to. But really, I would want to just like be a fly on the wall. Like I would want to go and hang out in that giant rented house with them and just like play ping pong or like watch, be a fly on the wall in their music making progress and just like get to know them better. I would really love to talk about like, the themes that they bring up in songs like Black Swan, like how their relationship with their art has maybe ebbed and flowed over the years, how how they've been able to create, maybe if they were in like a mental health slump, how they've been able to work through like these real personal issues and like their own turmoil and still be able to produce, and like what it means to them, to kind of cling to each other and their fans in those times. Just kind of like personal things that I think are universal. You don't have to be a famous musician to identify with those issues. But really just like get to the core of like what makes them human beings.
Yeah, I would love someone to just do a full spread about their lyrics and their music. Like you said, like actually talk about Black Swan and how it came to be, and have they ever felt something like that? And how did they overcome it and find love in music again? Because we know they've been through hard times. And Yoongi's mixtape of Augusty, that first one, he talks about mental struggles. And have someone just do an in-depth article about their music. That's what they're here for. Like even that Variety article mentioned about them being apolitical, and they kept going about the Black Lives Matter, which isn't important, and the fact that they donated was big, because in today's world, most pop stars love staying apolitical and not make comments. But BTS, despite what they said, and it's not that they're political against someone, they're angry about society, and they show about how society is, and they show it since their first song. Like No More Dream was about being crushed by expectations from your parents, and to the point that you no longer have a dream. You just stuck on that conveyor belt of getting good grades and getting into a good school, and without any other choice beside that. And they constantly have that. They have a song called Am I Wrong that came out in a very troubling time in Korea. They quoted politicians directly. I still don't know how they got to do it live on a TV show. It's really incredible. And that song is basically saying, this world is crazy, it's fucked up, and we need, like, am I wrong for saying that and trying to do something about it? Or is, like, am I the one who's crazy, or is the world crazy? Like, what's going on? And they've always had a statement to make. And you see people like Bong Joon-ho, who did Parasite, and he's revered. And like that article referenced him too. And said, oh, it's because the Korean government put money into entertainment, which is true, they did. But at that time, like Big Hit was a company on the verge of bankruptcy. I doubt they got a lot of money from the government. So you have a person like Bong Joon-ho who is being revered for his sociological statements and all that, which he should be. He's an amazing film director, but BTS has a lot of the same messages, and they're being disregarded because of the K-pop label and that boy band label, and no one really bothers to take a look in. And as a fan, it's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You said it better than I could. I hope that, I just hope that as they continue to build their stature, especially in the United States, that people feel compelled to go digging and look into their lyrics and look into their artistry and kind of just understand what they're all about.
Yeah. Do you think liking BTS and being a bit biased towards them makes writing articles about them better or worse?
Okay. I think that liking, I don't think that liking an artist precludes you from writing honest, objective articles about them. I think the idea that oh, you can't write about them because you're like a fanboy, or more often a fangirl, because like very rarely do men in media get told that they're not allowed to write about an artist because they're a fan of them. It's typically women, typically about pop groups like BTS. I don't think that makes it harder. I think that being a fan of something increases the quality of your writing because you've invested yourself in this thing. You understand, you're able to dig below the surface, and you're able to make connections both within like the band's own artistry and their own history, and like the context in which they're operating, like on a bigger scale, like within the music industry, that you wouldn't be able to if you were just like, you know, reading some stats or some footnotes off a Wikipedia page and trying to like make sense of it in an article. I mean, I think there's a line to be drawn, you know, if you find yourself so invested in any sort of fandom, or if you kind of just, you know, stan something blindly, then no, you probably shouldn't be writing about it no matter what we're talking about. But I think part of being a cultural writer, a cultural critic, is like always knowing yourself and being able to kind of judge your distance from a subject, and to try to keep enough distance to like maintain your discretion. But in general, I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. Like, I don't think I found, probably, at least in as long as I can remember, I have never read a profile on an artist written by a writer who didn't like the artist. Like, you're never going to see somebody go out and do like a profile on like Bruce Springsteen and they don't like Bruce Springsteen. That will literally never happen. So no, I don't think being a fan affects. I think being a fan does improve the quality of writing.
It's an asset to be a fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just means that I think it, you know, deepens your knowledge and gives you a richer perspective. There are so many good writers out there right now. Like Lenica at the Atlantic, I think she writes, you know, she's got some of the best analysis I've seen on the group, and she's like made no bones about like her fandom. Like, she loves this group, and it reflects it in her writing.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I couldn't agree more. I think when you know something, you're able to look, like you said, beyond the surface and more in depth, and have more, give the whole story or give a better part of it. And yeah, but if you want to read an article by someone who doesn't like and does a profile piece, that's the Hollywood Reporter. We're gonna wrap this up here. Hopefully we'll get to do this again because there's so much more we want to know. But this was really fun, Brian. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. This was great. Again, this is my first time on a podcast, so thanks for giving me the opportunity. I had a lot of fun, and I'm sure that as long as BTS keeps making moves, I'll have more stuff to write about. So I'm sure that we'll always have more topics to add to the conversation.
Definitely. It's like keep rolling here. Yeah. So thank you, Brian, and thank you everyone for watching. And I hope you stay tuned and subscribe to the channel, and that you liked it, and send purple hearts Brian's way.
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. I'll send them back.
Thank you. Bye. And we're done.